Oh, wisdom of the ages, guys. We are featuring, guys, the Church Without Walls here with our next episode. As tonight, we are going to be finishing the parable of the sower, or maybe, hopefully finishing. I'm assuming we're going to finish, but we're going to let time do what it does. But thanks so much for joining me. We're broadcasting here live on Facebook and also YouTube. And of course, if you should happen to catch the replay, just put in the comments on hashtag replay or leave us a comment. Of course, we do like engagement. That's what social media likes, be able to push this thing out to reach more people. And I don't know about you, but how many guys would agree that the more people reading the Bible would quite possibly could be a good thing? I don't know. I think that we've got a lot of people that confess this, that they're Christians, and I don't see many of them reading the Bible. I go into the churches, and I don't really go to the churches anymore, but I don't see many people reading the Bible. And we had such a great time last time that it was like, yeah, maybe we should just get together and just read the Bible. No fanfare, no pomp and stance. None of that stuff is necessary for us to just say, maybe we'll call this a little Bible study. I don't know. So I call it wisdom of the ages. Anyway, I want to say thanks so much for joining us here today. I am your host here today, your facilitator. I'm just doing what God told me to do. I've been complaining. I'm ERGJ. I go by the Godfather, Brother E today. That's going to be my Brother E. I'm going to be Brother E today. And just want to have some dialogue with you guys for those that, that really want to maybe just need some support. Maybe you're saying, hey, you don't get encouraged to do it yourself, but when you can do it together, it makes it that much more palatable. And then when you can have the dialogue and conversations, along the way, that may help as well. But I was a guy that's just been watching. I've been like, a little frustrated because why y'all don't read the Bible? Y'all, that's the text. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm deciding today that I will we will be walking through a read the Bible in a year plan starting in January. So I reached out to the brothers. I've already got some. They've already sent me some plans, and so for those who may want to go on that journey, I would call it a journey. I would call it a holy journey to actually read the entirety of your holy text, so you can know that you know, versus relying on somebody else to feed you, which it has its place. But at some point in time, shouldn't you be able to feed yourself? At some point in time, a baby grows up and they can feed themselves. Right? At some point in time, the baby grows up and they can feed themselves. So I want to be able to help you to get that space. And then that way I can feed you and you can feed me. When you down, I can feed you. When I'm down, when you down, I can feed you. When you down, I can feed, however that go. When I'm down, you can feed me. When you're down, I can feed you. While you guys are connected, let us know where you're connected from, what city, what state, what country you might be connected from. This is Church Without Walls. We're from Decatur, Georgia, but we're broadcasting all across the world. Hit that like button, that share button. Leave a comment below as well so we know that you're here and you want to engage with us here tonight. We're going to be coming from the text of chapter 13 in Matthew. Matthew chapter 13. Now, I'm going to do a quick recap as quickly as possible because we want to get to the explanation. But this is the parable of the sower, where Jesus was walking at this time, and we're going to I'll run through all the scriptures. It's going to be chapter 13, verse 1 through 23. We'll read right through to the point where we start to go through the explanation that the great teacher gave to the masses. So let's get right up into this thing. Again, hit the like button, share button, all that good stuff. But nonetheless. Also, chapter 13 in Matthew, verse 1, it says, the same day Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. So he is at the sea. And great crowds gathered about him so that he got into a boat and sat down. So Jesus is going out to the sea, and then all of a sudden the crowd comes out. So I guess he's a very popular person. I don't know, everywhere he goes, he's got some paparazzi. I don't know. So that he got into a boat. So he's away from them. He's sitting down in the boat in the sea, and the whole crowd was standing on the beach. So while we're start picturing some of this stuff. You're a beach and you got the lake or the ocean or whatever, and You got, Jesus decided I'm going to be in the sea. So when I picture it, I picture that this is his church. He has church out in the field. He has church out, and that day, just wherever he went, he can have church. And I want you guys to understand, wherever you go, you can have church as well. Matter of fact, we having church right now. What's going on with your man, brother Donto in the house from M-Town? Verse 3, and he told them many things in parables, saying a sower went out to sow. So Jesus is known, one of the things that he's known for is teaching in parables. Teaching in parables, telling stories, right? Everybody put in console, tell a story, telling stories. And hopefully by the end of our time here tonight, you'll see why this is so important. Telling stories. I think the great teacher was giving us an example of how to reach more people. You reach more people by telling stories. All right. So he tells a story to the masses that's there. All these people gathered. I guess he was a very popular guy at this time. He said a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path and the birds came and devoured them. All right. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up. And since they had no depth of soil, but when the sun rose, they were scorched or burned. And since they had no root, they withered away. So there's two different examples of a sower sowing seed and the ground that seed fell on. And we'll get to the explanation later on. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Right? That's the third space that the seeds were sown into a different type of ground. And then other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Now notice this. Basically, I believe that the master teacher knows that everybody ain't going to get it. You might want to put that in the comments below. Everybody just ain't going to get it. Okay? Everybody ain't going to get it. Everybody ain't going to understand. You can say whatever it is. You can say a fact. It don't matter what you say. You can say one thing, and guess what? Everybody ain't gonna get it. That should help some of you right there. You gotta accept it. I know you want everybody to get what you got going on. I know you want everybody in the world to be your customer. I know you want everybody to tap in to whatever it is that you got going on, whatever God's called you to do. But guess what? Everybody ain't gonna get it. And I would suggest that you just simply be okay with that. Now, one of my mentors says this: when you understand that everybody, now some people will, but everybody ain't gonna get it. He says, man, you just gotta chalk it up. We say it in the hood. We say you just gotta chalk it up to the game. Some people might say something like this: isn't that fascinating? I mean, such a wonderful opportunity, such a wonderful opportunity to build wealth, such a wonderful opportunity to find your significant other, such a wonderful opportunity to do something together. But guess what? Everybody ain't gonna get it. Some people simply can't hear you at this particular time. They don't have the ears to hear whatever it is that God has called for you to do. And while you're out there doing it, you're telling other people and you're looking for your team. While you're looking for your team, everybody ain't gonna get it. But guess what, guys? That's okay. If you can accept that, go ahead and put in the console, I'm okay with that. You gotta be okay with everybody ain't getting it. Gotta be okay with that. Now, verse 10, then the disciples came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? Why do you talk to them like that? You ever did something and people start asking you, why did you say it like that? Then they said, why are you talking to them like that? You just tell them a story. And he answered them, to you it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven. You know, you understand, but they don't. But to them it has not been given. For to one who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. To one who has, more will be given. But to him and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Now, I don't know what you get from that, but I get from that I understand why the poor will always be among us. Because they don't have eyes to see, they don't have ears to hear, right? And even what they have will be taken away. It's hard to activate, manifest, bring about when you just don't get it. So when you don't get it in that particular area where you don't get it, guess what? What you do got as it relates to that, it's going to go to somebody else. Here's a good understanding. We say something like this: a fool and his money will soon part ways. A person that's not a good steward of money, the money that he has, because he doesn't understand it, because he just don't get it, guess what? It's going to find its way into a person who knows how to manage that money. That's how that works. That's why the poor will always be among us. This has nothing to do with somebody oppressing you. You're actually oppressing yourself by not learning what you don't know. Okay, I'm supposed to be getting to the remainder of understanding the parable, but that's it. We talk about oppression and all this. No, you oppressing yourself. Because you choose not to learn what you don't know. In whatever particular area where you find that you're neglecting, guess what? That's the area where you're not going to get an abundance. I'm just saying. I mean, I hope let's just keep reading because I'm just saying. Verse 13, this is why I speak to them that way. This is why I speak to them in parables. They just don't get it. So I'm going to talk to them in this way because they ain't going to get it. Or they might. Some of them will, some of them won't. Because seeing, they do not see. And hearing, they do not hear. Nor do they understand. So now I'm into money. Bible and money. I'm into this thing called cryptocurrency. And there's a whole bunch of people that although they see cryptocurrency, they do not see. And although they hear about the thing in the news and they hear about it, they still don't hear. And a whole bunch of them simply don't understand. But it's not that they couldn't understand. They're choosing not to go into spaces where they can learn and then understand. That's totally their choice. There's the people that get it, guess what? They getting rich with it. The people that just hearing it but don't hear, and they seeing it but don't see it, they don't understand, they can't take action. Guess what? That ain't going to be the space for them to thrive. And that's okay. Because there's plenty of places. Maybe they got to thrive somewhere else. Verse 14, indeed, in their case, the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled that says, you will indeed hear, but never understand. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being in a space where God says to you, yeah, you gonna hear, but you ain't gonna understand? Well, he's already said that to you. In the spaces that you don't understand, guess what? You have heard, but you don't understand. And in some spaces, you may never understand. And I would venture to say there's some spaces that you don't want to understand. I put it this way. I think of it this way. There are some things as a businessman that I simply don't want to learn. I'd rather pay somebody else to do. I mean, I can't sit here and try to learn everything as it relates to doing business. I can't sit here and learn how to do everything and then try to do everything. That's crazy. I won't get it done. There's some things I don't need to learn how to take the trash out. I'll pay the maid. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to. There's some things I'm never going to understand. Matter of fact, let me give you an example. Now, it's kind of an example. So I made, we had a pie. Frozen pie in the freezer. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go make that pie. I made the pie, followed the instructions on the thing, made the pie, right? And then when I was cooling the pie out before, it was the Dutch apple pie. How many of you guys like Dutch apple pie? I feel like in life right now with Martin Lawrence over there. Give me some of that pie. So I followed the instructions. And then when the pie got ready, was done like cooking before you put the Dutch part on it, the whole crust was dark, right? And so I was talking to a lady friend, and she says, she said something. She was, because I told her I was making a pie. Like, I don't bake pies. I don't know how to bake pies. I'm not a baker. I was just like, it's in the freezer and I can read the instructions. I'll bake it. She was like, I think she said, basically, I don't know what the word is, but she was like, did you put foil across the top of the crust? And I was like, why? It didn't tell me to do that. The instructions didn't tell me to do that. But that's something that she knew, because I guess she's a baker and she cooks. And I was like, no. And I was like, I guess that's why my crust turned out black. I was like, well, we just gonna call it a chocolate Dutch apple pie at this particular point, because it ain't going in the trash. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I still don't understand it. I mean, I guess I don't even know why I would be doing it. I'm probably not going to bake another pie for quite a while. But now I kind of know what to do in order to make sure that crust is golden brown instead of golden black. But if me never baking, why would I know to do that? That's how these people are. That's how people are in the world as it relates to some of the things that you know. You know what you know. And hopefully you know what you've been called to do. And as you go out into the world to do that, you're going to come across people who might be able to help you, but you're going to find out real quick there's a whole bunch that can't. In this categories of 4, I'll probably say it's a whole bunch of that category 1. They just don't hear you at all. They don't see you at all. You'll never come across them at all. Y'all are not in the same, y'all ain't even in the same stratosphere. Although y'all may be next door, y'all do not have nothing in common. Y'all don't come across each other at all. That's how it is sometimes. Right? Now, where was I going? Okay. So he said, man, the prophet said, you will indeed hear, but never understand. And you will indeed see, but never perceive. That is so mind-boggling for me that there's some things here on the earth that I might just might never see. There's some things here on the earth that I might just not ever understand. There are a lot of things that's going on in the world that I ain't never been exposed to. That's the great thing about living on the earth. You got a lot that you can explore. Okay? For this people's heart, this is the reason why the prophet said this. For this people's heart has grown dull. Now in the comments below, I want you to give me an example of something that is dull. What is it? What dull? Their heart has grown dull. And I run a brotherhood, and in brotherhood, I've been asking recently about this thing called a burning desire. Because when I hear the word dull, I hear lukewarm, I hear, comfortable, I hear taking it easy, I hear coasting, I hear just getting by. The people's heart has grown dull. Matter of fact, you can think about the whole society. Our hearts have grown dull to filth. Our hearts have grown dull to the things that we say that's just how it is. Although the good book might tell us that lying is, that the Lord despises a lying tongue. We're so used to people lying that our hearts are dull to it. Not mine, but some people's are. And this is how you have these things called these slow deaths in the world, because people grow dull, their hearts grow dull to certain things, and it's hard to grow something in a space where it's dull and boring. For these people's heart has grown dull, and with their ears they can barely hear. And their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart. Notice that you understand with your heart. How many guys thought that you understand with your mind? Oh, this is a good one here. He said, the prophet said that people will understand with their heart. And then he said, once they understand with their heart, after they've heard, after they've seen, and after they understand, then they may turn. Turn is another word for repent, a change, stop, quit, stop doing what you know you shouldn't be doing. But then you ain't going to stop until you see. You're not going to stop until you hear. You're not going to stop until you understand. And then you might turn. Wow. And after you turn, I will heal them. I don't know about you, but it sounds like to me that God is waiting on you to turn. I mean, good. Thank God he got mercy upon our soul that although we may be operating in some type of sin, because we all fall short, that leads to death, that we still here because of his mercy. And he's still giving you and I an opportunity to turn so he can heal us. I was just talking about oppression, suppression, depression, all that stuff is waiting on you to turn. But you won't turn until you hear. You won't turn until you see. You won't turn until you understand. Oh my goodness. Verse 16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Now he's back talking to the disciples. We're past the prophecy part. 17, verse 4, truly I say to you, many prophets and many righteous people long to see what you see. Now, isn't just interesting? In those times, they already had, they had prophets. They had people in the church. They had religious people. And he said that many of those prophets, many of those righteous people, the church folk, they long to see what you see, disciples, and they did not see it. And they long to hear what you hear, disciples, and they did not hear it. Isn't that interesting? So many people, even though they call themselves Christians, even though they go to church, you got a whole bunch of righteous people, or what we would call in today's term, church folk, that do not hear, that do not see, and they do not understand. Wow. There's nothing new under the sun. Even when Jesus was walking the earth, you had church folk. The Sadducees and all that stuff, you had church folk. Even back then. They didn't even know, they didn't even see, they didn't even understand that Jesus was walking among them. So if back then when Jesus was walking, they couldn't tell, couldn't understand, didn't know that was him walking. There's still some people in the church today that don't understand, that don't see, that don't see, that don't hear, that don't understand. You see what I'm saying? But it's only when you start getting in the book. Oh Lord, let's keep going. So here then, the parable of the sower, right? When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. I feel like I stepped the path, right? So remember, when they first sowed, he said, the sower sows the word, they sowed along the path. So now is the understanding of the path, right? So when anyone hears the word of the kingdom, anyone hears the word of God, anyone reads the Bible, notice this, how we're reading the Bible right now, very few people tap in when you actually start reading the Bible. Do you notice that? It's a very interesting thing. I'm telling you, all these Christian folk, when you can really tell who are really about that thing when you start reading the Bible. And you start seeing how many people, like, I ain't got time for that. No, but this is supposed to be the most important book of their life. It's the holy text given by God. But when you start opening up and reading it, it seems like a whole bunch of people ain't trying to read it with you. Isn't that interesting? I'm just saying, I don't know, but at any rate, when anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. So that's the path. These path people. They kind of barely hear what's going on. So immediately comes. So they get the word. They maybe heard something on TV. The televangelism, or maybe I don't know, like some of the Jehovah's Witnesses come, or whatever the case may be. Heard it through the grapevine. But immediately, right? So the enemy there's a war going on. A war for your soul. Right? The kingdom of heaven wants to welcome you into the kingdom of heaven. But there's another kingdom that most of us are walking in right now. It's called hell. Okay? So someone coming to try to save you, save your soul, drop the word in you, right? You heard it, but then he came immediately. He sent one of his minions or whatever the case may be. Say, right? We're not going to let that take root. He going to bring some distractions into your life. He going to bring that nice thing that you like to look at, that you're addicted to. It's going to pop back up. As soon as you start thinking you about to go a different direction, he say, you mine, son. I'm just saying. And then verse 20. That was the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. They like, oh, this is what I'm talking about here. Oh, yes, sir. Let's get it. Yet, He has no root in himself, but endures just for a little while. They get started. They got started. And then tribulation comes, a problem comes, or persecution arises, right? They get their manhood gets checked, right? On account of the word, immediately he falls away. Have y'all seen that happen? Somebody gets started with something new. They get inspired by God. Oh man, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm going to practice a celibacy. I'm going to stop cheating. I'm going to, whatever it is. They say, I'm going to do it this time. I'm ready. They start telling the world they're excited. We going to do it. Yes, we going to do it. Yes, I'm going, yes. And then they get started. They get started. Oh yeah, they get started. Oh, they ready to go. But then something's going to come to test to see just their resolve. Are they going to keep going, or are they going to fall back into who they are, fall back into their old habits? How many times have you got started and didn't finish? Think about what I'm saying. You got excited. You got motivated. You was inspired. You're ready to change something. Whatever it is, you're ready to start something. You're ready to build something. I don't know. You took step one. You took step two. And then you was like, something happened. The next day you took a break. You slept in. The next day you slept in. The next day you slept in. And then next thing you know, you ain't doing that no more. Let me repeat it again. This is the rocky ground. Are you a person, whatever it is that you're thinking about, you got some rocky ground in some areas of your life. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word. You heard it. You got inspired. You got the revelation, and immediately you received it with joy. Joy is another word for you excited. I mean, you got some stuff going on there. You excited, right? But then, you know what I'm saying? You get some bad news. But then, the lights get cut off. Whatever, something's going to happen. Something will always come up and happen. The question is, will you keep going? That enthusiasm will get you started, but it's going to be your commitment that gets you to finish. Will you stay committed to your newfound joy? Wow. So he immediately received joy, yet he has no root in himself. There was no firm foundation, right? No firm foundation. So he got excited, got started, but he really no root, no depth. He endures for a little while as long as he can. But when tribulation and persecution arise on account of the word, immediately he falls away. Immediately, he gets silent. Immediately, he disappears. Immediately. How many of you guys have seen people like that in your life? You're like, what happened? You got the word. You got the revelation. You got the new idea. You're excited about it. You got the joy, right? You get started. You endure for a little while, not to completion. You don't finish. You don't get to the end, but you do get started. And the reason why you didn't get to the end because a distraction came, or bad news came, or death in the family came, some tribulation and persecution came. And then you let that stop you from finishing what you started. How many of you guys really have a hard time finishing what you start? That's what it seems like it's saying here to me. What is it saying to you? This is the rocky ground. Now, having a hard time finishing what you start. Wow. Verse 22, as for what was sown among the thorns. So we had the path, right? Then we had the rocky ground, getting started, but not finishing, right? The path is kind of like you heard it, didn't pay no attention to it, right? Now we're into the thorns. As for what was sown among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word. This is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches, that's greed, right? Choke the word and it proves unfruitful. Those that you heard the word, you got excited, you're ready to get going. You're going, you're doing, you're making it do what it do. But then you get greedy. Want to get rich quick. That's the deceitfulness of riches. The money start coming in. Maybe you started a new business. The money start coming in, but then you want more. So you try to find more ways, new ways to get more. And some of those ways are deceitful. I had a brother that had started I can tell the story. I had a brother that had started his business. He was ready to go, but he needed a little bit more money. And he came up with the idea to start a GoFundMe to get the funds to launch his party. And I was like, that's a little deceitful, because you're in business. Why don't you just work your business to get the profits from your business? If it takes a little bit longer to do what you're trying to do, you got the business to generate money. Why do you need to go get a crowdfund to get more money so that you can launch your business? That didn't make sense. That was deceitful. The deceitfulness of riches choked out the word. And it says the cares of the world. Man, this one here is big. The cares of the world. The cares of the world. What does that say to you? I'm going to tell you some of the cares of the world. The cares of the world. Concerning yourself, the cares of the world. What your parents say. They don't agree with your decision. The cares of the world. What your spouse says. Or partner or whatever significant. You trying to go this route. Your significant other saying no. But you know God wants you to go this route. But now you got to be concerned about their feelings. You got to be concerned about them and what they think, while you know you've been called to go this direction. That's the cares. That's some cares of the world. What are some other cares of the world that gets people to stop, to not pass go? Cares of the world chokes it. And now listen to this word, choke. It's like it's in your throat, but it chokes it right on out. It's like, oh, worry, anxiety, stress is choking you out. Let me repeat it again. You heard the word. I don't care what that word is. Hey, Alex, you know what I'm saying? Go start your print company. Hey, Sincere, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to build out Born. Hey, yeah, family's one of the biggest ones, guys. Family, I'm telling you, Now, sometimes, obviously, everything is divine order. Again, it's okay if things are delayed in your eyes. All right, it's okay if some things are delayed. I think, but don't lose sight. Don't lose sight of the vision. Don't lose sight of. Hopefully, you wrote the vision down and made it plain. If you did that, then you can rest assured that it's gonna get done, because that's what God wants you to do. But you're gonna still have to experience life. This is all about understanding that this is how this stuff works, so that you won't get so stressed out or upset or, depressed or whatever, simply because something took a little bit longer than you expected. I hope you understand that you're not really in control. Wow. Let me just let that sit there for just a second. Let me just say that again. I want you to understand that you're not really in control. You think you are. You might think that you're God. Woo! You might act like you the boss. Ooh! But are you humble enough to admit that you are not in control? Yikes. Ask what was sown among the thorns, so the thorns can choke out your ambition. The thorns can choke out your drive. I see so many people that are dull, so many people that have lost the fire that they used to have. Maybe they got to a point they just said, it's still a dream, but I'm too old now. Can you imagine? Just got choked out. Life just choked it out. That's why you gotta be careful who you decide to partner up with. You know, is the woman in your life, is she going to fuel you and encourage you and get you to keep going when you want to quit? Is the man in your life going to just say, "No, baby, we got to finish what we started"? Right? That's who, you know what I'm saying? You got to be careful who you, now you got to be, these are your friends. This is your family. These are your lovers, whatever you got going on, your homies. Yeah, I mean, you hang around the wrong crowd, they gonna choke out your ambition, choke out your drive, choke out your dream. The cares of the world, and most people care about other people. The children, the grandchildren, all this stuff. Wow. Now, as for, choke out the word, and it proves unfruitful. So it never bore any fruit. Wow. As for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. It came across, you heard it, you understood it. Now there's a difference between, there's a big difference between knowing and understanding. That's what I found. Like as I just live another day, I'm beginning to understand things more and more. I knew them. I knew some things, but now I'm beginning to understand some of the things that I know. Now that might be a little deep for some of you guys. This is like next level thinking. We're talking about you're lifting your thoughts being lifted. You guys can probably, as we talk about, the vibration going higher. We talk about going from the mind of man to the mind of God. Like you and I have access to that spirit. Oh, we only access it. Most people, I would say, very seldom. It's only a few people that know how to access it all the time because they've been practicing. You got access to the divine. You have access. You can go there anytime you want. But you probably, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't even know what to say. Just identifying. When's the last time, give me an example of the last time that you finally understood something that you already knew. You understood, like, let me say an example. Like, so I remember growing up and what did I say, Alex? I messed up. When I missed something, I grew up and there was I remember, like, for example, my mother told me that the iron is hot. Okay. So I got a big scar on my leg from an iron. The iron is hot. Now I know what hot is. And I know from what my mother said, I shouldn't play with the iron. I know that. But it's for some strange reason. How many guys, I want you to think about this. For some strange reason, I had to really find out just how hot it is so I could understand this level of heat. So I was playing with the hot iron and I put it on my leg just to see what hot really meant. And guess what, guys? Since that day, I totally understand what a hot iron really feels like. So although I knew the iron was hot, I didn't really understand what hot meant until it scarred my leg for life. So there's a whole bunch of things that we could know. We could know that we know, and we can still not really understand. And that's the beauty of living life. You can just continue to learn, continue to learn, continue to learn, continue to learn, continue to live, and continue to understand. Now the good book says, in all thy wisdom, in all thy getting, get understanding. Everything that you get, the book recommends, the good Lord recommends that you understand the thing. What would it be like? I want you to think, I can see a couple people here. I want you to think about this. You probably, let's just say how many guys have been in a long-term relationship with somebody, significant other, married, whatever. And you know the person at this particular point. It's been 10 years, whatever, 5 years, whatever, you know them. But every day that you spend more time with them, you get a greater understanding of them. Like I know you. Oh, but now, I understand a little bit better today. Okay. Now I understand why you do that. I understand why you respond that way. I understand how you think now. Oh, I'm understanding a little bit more today. Even Brother Alex, me and Alex was talking earlier today. You know what I mean? We known each other for a long time. I mean, me and Alex, I've known Alex a long time. I don't know how long, but a long time, maybe a decade, I don't know. But today, I understand him better today than I ever have in the past. And tomorrow, I'm going to understand him a little bit better tomorrow. And then the next, whatever day after that we communicate, I'm going to understand him a little bit better as well. Every day that I communicate with Alex, I'm getting a greater understanding of a person that I already know. I should probably drop a mic or something. Let me get my bell going on. Every day that I get a chance to connect with this brother, while God gives us the liberty to be here on this plane, every day that me and him decide that we gonna talk, or me and him decide that we gonna communicate, every day I get the pleasure of understanding Brother Alex even greater. Now, I don't know about you, but that's exciting to me. I mean, no homo or nothing. You're just getting to know someone and their phenomenal life that they've led, and how they got to where they are today, and the stuff that they've been through, and the things that they've overcome, and all the wild stories and the sad stories. And if you've been living this life for 40, 50, 45, 30, 40, you got there's a lot to unpack. And I can know the essence of the man or the essence of the woman. But man, the more and more we get a chance to connect and communicate and do some stuff together, the more I understand the person. All right. Verse 23, we're in the good soil. So, as for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. He indeed, everybody putting comments below, indeed. This is like for sure. That's like guaranteed. He indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case, 100-fold. You don't just get a little bit, you get a lot. Or in some other case, you might get 60-fold back. Or in another 30. So the good soil is our hearts, or your customers' hearts, whoever it is. If you're the sower, you're going out and sowing a seed, you're sowing a seed upon the hearts of other people. Let's take it from a business perspective. Let's read this right here. So as long as you know that God is for you, it does not matter who is against you. Now, let's just say I wanted to sell that. Right? I wanted to sell it. I'm going to let people know that I got this thing here that you can buy. And I'll put it out there. Well, it's going to be a whole bunch of people just simply not interested. Those are going to be the path people. Right? Okay, I let them know, hey man, I got this tapestry for sale. I don't do that tapestry stuff. I don't do that religious stuff. I don't do that God stuff. Okay, cool. Right? No problem. They just simply, it ain't their thing. I got to be okay with that. Everybody put it across, so I'm okay with that. Well, then you might come across somebody and say, ooh, I like that. How much is it? Right? They was intrigued. They got excited. You saw their eyes light up. Right? They still might not buy, but they at least like engaging and try may have some interest. These are the interested people. Right? These are for me, there's the rocky ground people. Got excited. You know what I'm saying? They were going to check out your website, right? They checked out your website. They might even put it, they checked out your website. Then they say, I'm going to come back to it tomorrow. And they never come back to it. Okay? So these could be the rocky ground people, man. I still got the tapestry. They was excited about it. They was interested in it, but they wasn't committed to getting it. Okay? Right? So it just burned right up. Then you have the thorn people. So they saw, they was like, ooh, what's that? Oh, brother, man, I want to get that. Okay, cool. Here's a website. Boom, they go check it out on the website. They put it in their cart, right, to buy, right? They're planning to buy, but then they go to swipe and, the credit cards decline. Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? They still want it, right? We still talking about wanting the credit card decline. They say, man, I'm going to have to call the credit card company in the morning, everything's okay, and they about to buy. Go ahead and get their tapestry that they want. All right, then the husband gives them a call. Hey, what you got going on, man? I'm just over here shopping. I'm about to get... You shopping? You shopping again? The cares of the world. You see what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, they didn't complete the sale. It was that close. That close. They didn't complete the sale. And so that to me is like an example of some thorns. It choked the desire right on out. As soon as that husband started talking, it choked that. All right, well, I ain't gonna be buying that today. I don't want to hear his mouth. But then you got the good soil. They wanted it. They had to have it. They understood it. That's their favorite scripture, whatever the case may be, right? They go through the process. Boom, bam. Not only did they go through the process, not only did they get that one, but while they were there, they went shopping and they got 5 other tapestries. They bought one of each of all the tapestries or the religious tapestries or the spiritual tapestries that you had. That's like a 100-fold, a 60-fold, or a 30-fold. That's how that works. But here's the key. If I don't keep letting people know that I got this to sell, if I don't let everybody know, hey, boom, I got this thing, boom, or however the marketing piece, the putting it out there, the showing it like I'm showing it now, right? Putting it out, show, hey, man, anybody looking for, you know what I'm saying, Romans 8:31, Romans 8:31, Romans 8:31. If I don't keep sowing, if I don't keep asking, if I don't keep searching, if I don't keep knocking on the door, I might just never come into good soil. To find good soil requires persistency and consistency to keep on sowing until you find good ground. Wow. And once you find good ground, it indeed will reap a harvest back unto you, because you were consistently sowing the word, consistently sowing the offer, consistently making the offer. Indeed, it says, oh man, you might want to put that in comment zone. Indeed, it'll bring forth a harvest. You don't know what that harvest will be, but you've done a good job of being consistent. You've done a good job of putting it out there. And then boom, next thing you know, you done found some good ground. And then next thing you know, that good ground is telling the word of mouth. They're telling other people. Man, I remember Alex. And here's the beautiful thing about finding good ground. Man, once you find good ground, man, you better work that ground until it ain't got no more nutrients in it. You can literally find one piece of good ground, one great customer, or whatever the case may be, and that one great customer can turn into 15 referrals. If you take care of the customer, or in other words, if you take care of the garden, or you take care of the ground. You found good soil. Now you yield some return. Now will you take care of the ground? Nurture it. Manage it. Customer service if you want in business. You know what I'm saying? And I found the parable of the soil to be such a great understanding of that process of going from idea to sale. If that's what you want to say. And from a business standpoint, I got an idea. I got a website, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the product is, right? But you keep on pitching it. You keep on looking for those that are looking for you. And eventually you find your tribe. You find your next customer. You see what I'm saying? You're sowing. You're doing what God's called you to do, whatever that is. And you just keep on doing it and letting people know. And then I think from the Field of Dreams, it said that if you build it, they will come. Now here's an inverse of what we're saying. If you sow and keep on sowing, then you will reap. But if you don't sow, you will not reap. How can you reap if you don't sow? And so many people, they sow for one day. There are some people who only sow for 1 hour. This is just too much. I gotta hit the send button. And I really have to let people know that I'm in business. You got some secret agent entrepreneurs out there. Well, how is somebody going to buy something from you if they don't know you in business? How does that mean? How does that work? How you don't want to be visible? I gotta go through all of this. What do you mean? You mean you literally have to work 2 hours a day to win? But that's too much. But you'd rather work 8 hours and build somebody else's dream. But you won't work 2 hours and put out your offer to people for 2 hours. But you'd rather go clock in and go drive into the job and get paid less and work 8 hours. Because the 2 hours requires a little bit more work and intensity and a little bit more care. And the 8 hours, you ain't got to do nothing. You just want to ride the clock and get your check. I mean, I don't know. If you sow and keep on sowing and keep on sowing. I mean, I'm talking about in the space where you know that this is where God called you to be, called you to do. And this is what you do. I'm building a school. I know God's called me to build a school. Guess what I'm going to keep doing? I'm going to keep on teaching. Alice, I'm just saying, Alice, what would it be like if I stopped teaching? Does that even sound like a thing? Like Evan ain't teaching no more? I don't even think I could even fathom. I don't even know what that looked like. That's who I am. That's what I do. So it would make no dang on sense for me to just stop teaching. No, that's my gift. I could choose not to. But wherever I sow, wherever I decide to sow, I'm going to reap a harvest if I just keep on sowing. Whether I stop teaching or not. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. God wants to reward the consistent sower. Especially in a space where it is righteous. Okay, so this is the parable of the sower. This is going to end part 2. I have so many different places I want to go. But here's what I'm thinking. You guys let me know what you guys think about this idea. Let me repeat this again. This is Matthew chapter 13, verse 1 through 23. So we're done with this parable. Of course, I don't know where I may go next, in this, but I'm thinking at the top of the year of doing a reading plan, a reading exercise, a reading plan with those that want to participate in actually reading the Bible in 2025. Like the entire Bible. As I said, I've been complaining. I don't know if it's complaining, but I've been noticing we have so many people, that have replaced reading the Bible with going to church. Don't even read the Bible. And they justify it and all that good stuff. But I'm saying to myself, for me, it doesn't make sense. I'm still, for us to say that God has left us this holy text. And if you believe that God left you that holy text, why don't you read it? If God Almighty, the omnipotent God, the God that has has calves on 1,000 hills, if the God who has a gold pathway into the pearly gates, if God Almighty left you access to this book, and he says meditate on the word day and night, study to show yourself approved, why haven't you read it? Is it possible that your heart has grown dull to feeding yourself with the word? I mean, you say that's your faith. You say that's what you believe. So if you want to go on this journey 2025 of actually reading the entire Bible, for some this might be your Mecca experience. You haven't come across anybody that's read the entire Bible, and you haven't you didn't have any joy come into your heart when it was like, hey, let's read the Bible together. I know what he said. Danto said earlier, because it might just simply be boring. I wonder, does it have to be exciting in order for you to do it when you know that if you do it, it'll be good for you? Does it have to bring you chills in order for you to do something that you know if you do it, it's going to be great for you? You'll have a better understanding of what God wants for your life if you read his word. So in January, we're going to be starting a plan. I'm going to help those that want to be helped. Because good Lord said to me, don't be the person that complains about something if you're not going to do something about it. I said, that's cool. I ain't scared, God. If there's someone out there saying, you know what? If we were doing it together, I'd get it done. Then we're going to have a Bible reading plan that we're going to launch in January so that you don't have to do it by yourself. And maybe if we do it together, it might not be boring. All right? So that's my time with you here today. I would ask that you would say a quick prayer because I've been reading about this thing called prayer. It's like, right? But I hope that this was a quality time for you. In the comments below, just let us know what your takeaway was from today. What did you learn? Was there anything that stood out? Did I do a good job? Did I mess up? I don't know. I just said I'm going to read the word, have a conversation with you guys about what we're reading, and hopefully you get something out of it. I get something out of it, and we can keep on keeping on. Okay? So you just let us know that in the comments below. And I look forward to this journey. I don't know what we'll cover next, but we'll schedule it and get it done probably on Sunday. And we're going to just keep making it do what it do, man. It's high time. We're in 2020, moving into 2025. It's time for a change. A change is already coming, especially if you're in the United States. A change is coming. And in this good book, I know part of that change, what the good book tells us to do is to love and pray for our enemies. And what I'm seeing across the country is a whole bunch of people a whole bunch of those religious people that I was talking about earlier, a whole bunch of those church folk who ain't praying and loving their enemies. Total contradiction. And quite possibly maybe because they not reading the word. They're just those religious folk. What did it say? Let me see if I can find it. They got religious folk, he said. And the prophets. Many prophets and many righteous people or religious folk or church folk long to see what you see and did not see it. They long to hear what you hear and did not hear it. And because they did not see it, and because they did not hear it, they also didn't understand it with their heart. Well, I say thanks so much for tuning in today to our episode. I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's keep building as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. We all we got. But thank God, that's more than enough. And I pray to God he allows me to meet again real soon. I'm out.